Welcome to Contractor Cuts, where we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing a successful contracting company.
Welcome back to Contractor Cuts. My name is Clark Turner.
I'm Jared Flo.
Thank you guys for joining us for another week. So,
welcome back.
This week we are diving into what I think the theory of growing a construction company, whether it's painting, flooring, general contractor, cleaning company, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What we're talking about today is, I think, the essential piece that is always missing when we see guys not growing. We're going to talk about the difference of starting a company foundationally, how 99% of general contractors or painters or plumbers start, and then how do you grow it into a multi-tier retirement plan where there's people in it. And those are two totally different companies.
Well, and it's the reason why people say on a regular basis to us, I do a good job. Customers like me. I just can't figure out how to get to the next level. I'm hitting a ceiling. I get stuck. I get pulled back into the field. Whatever it is, I can't get to that next level. And we hear that over and over and over from tons of people.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to break down the biggest issue in that growth spot. Out of all of the contractors and all the different levels that we have, which we'll dive into, there is one spot that is the most difficult that we see guys just hitting and not getting past. So we're going to dive into that right now. So first off, the baseline to understand ProServe Alliance and our organization, we've got two key things that we dive deep into during our one day, the One Day to Win events. The first thing is our org chart. We have built an org chart that goes from one person, just you, and then every single hire you should make in order, right? This guy, then you hire this, and this when you bring office in, and this is when you do this, and this is how you hire to replace. And it is an org chart step by step from 1A through 4F, and then it goes into 5, but 5's not even on there because that's a customized side of things. Anyways, it is an org chart that says, okay, when you're starting out as a 1A, you are a guy swinging a hammer, putting the sheetrock up yourself, running the electrical line yourself.
On site every day, managing the
doing
job.
The work.
Yep.
Level 1 is growth through doing that work as you're prepping to get into level 2. Level 2 is when you are officially not swinging the hammer yourself anymore, but you're managing crews that are all doing the work. That's 2A. And so the biggest spot that we get in this is going from a 1 to a 2 is two totally different companies.
Yep.
Level 1, you can be very successful as a level 1 and not get out of level 1 because you are the system.
Yep.
I order the materials. I deliver this. I do my walks. I hire my subs. I do everything for this company.
You have full control over everything. Interaction with the client, estimates, ordering materials, doing the work, the other people that are with you,
Your
you
fingers
know what
on
they're doing.
Every pulse.
Yeah.
And that is why when you go on vacation, your phone doesn't stop ringing and your jobs fall apart because you're gone, because you are the system.
You are the main cog in the wheel of the company.
Yep. And so that's level 1 is you are the person doing the work. You're bringing on crews. We teach you how to kind of grow multi-level crews underneath you, and then how do you make that first hire as a project manager? That happens in level 2.
Right.
But all companies, not all, I'd say 99% of companies in the construction industry start as a level 1. I was different. When I started our company, I came in as a project manager starting because I had long story short, an investor in the background that was buying a ton of houses, and I came as a project manager from another company, so we started level 2A.
Right.
I did not swing a hammer starting ProServe Home Solutions often.
Right.
Often.
Yeah.
But for most companies, they start, hey, I'm really good at this. I enjoy doing this. My dad was a carpenter, and so now I'm kind of into this. My dad owns an HVAC company. I want to go off on my own and start my own. Well, you're in a truck.
I've got a good trade skill. I'm good at sheetrock. I'm good at painting. I'm good at whatever. And I've been working for other people doing it. I want to do it for myself.
Yep.
And so the path of least resistance is you go land a job and you deliver the product and you handle all of it. And what the business model of that is applying my trade skill. The business model that you applied at the very beginning was I am going to create a business that delivers the trades.
Yep.
right? And so that was the big difference between where you started and where most contractors start,
Yep.
where they've got a trade and I'm just going to start delivering this trade, but they haven't built structure or anything to be able to grow into a business.
And now that company that's in the level one, they have one central person. Usually it's you as the owner of the company, or you as the the guy that started the company, you the contractor, whatever it is. You are the system. Mm-hmm. You make sure everything runs well, and it's your attention to detail and your skills that allow this company to grow and grow and grow. Now, you might hire some people. You might hire some project managers. They're your assistants. Your job is duplicating. Not you are duplicating. The amount of work that you're having to do is growing. It's growing. I'm now managing jobs and doing estimates, but I'm also checking on these guys. I'm managing them. I'm showing them how to do everything. I'm doing everything. I know what's going on every single job site, right? And so guys grow their company to a level where they're working 80, 90 hours a week, and they might have project managers and be, according to our structure and our org chart, a level 2, maybe even getting into level 3. But they are maxed out as the sole person center of this company, right? And so that is not the proper way to grow a company. And that's where a lot of guys get stuck is, I am the center. I do everything. I do my estimates. I do this. And if you want to learn, follow me. Watch me. Just come along with me. Okay, this is how we write estimates. Now just do what I do.
Yeah.
And so the biggest transition and really the hardest part is when we take on these companies or these individuals that have built their company around this, and we say, hey, you've built a great little house for yourself. We're about to build a skyscraper. We need a new foundation.
Right.
And we need to strip everything down, and we need to build a new company to start level 2. And so what we do is we walk hand in hand with them saying, level 1 is fine. It's great. You are working, but this doesn't duplicate.
Right.
Level 1, during your growth in level 1, we're going to start laying the foundation for level 2. So we have a growth path worksheet that is step by step, hundreds of things that boxes you have to check off to get to it level.
Move level to level. That's right.
And so in level 1, we're prepping for level 2. We're not trying. You start with getting the base launch, which is getting level 1 ready. And then when you're in level 1, you're working on level 1, prepping for level 2, laying that foundation of a skyscraper.
Right.
So that way, when we get the level 2, you are ready to go, as opposed to now we got to rebuild the whole thing.
It's built to force you to be proactive towards growth.
Yep.
You don't hire and then figure it out.
Yep.
You figure it out and then you're prepped and ready to hire.
Yep.
Right. It's all prepping and being proactive with, I want to grow and I'm going to do that strategically. And the places where we've stumbled, and we see guys stumble all the time, is they make choices to, I'm going to go ahead and hire, I'm going to go ahead and do this thing, whatever, I'll figure it out when I get there.
Yep.
And you end up with a glorified assistant who can't take on any more work. And you thought by hiring that person, you would be able to do less work and take on more.
Yep.
But what ended up happening is your bandwidth of revenue didn't go up, but you're working doubly hard because you're doing their job and their job.
You took on 20% more and are doing 50% more work.
That's right.
And so, one of our Executive Plus clients in Texas brought us in. They were almost to level 3. And when we got there, we went in, interviewed, learned all of their processes, learned their people, sat in on their meetings, understood everything. And we tore the whole company down and rebuilt it because it didn't have the foundation it needed. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for both sides. But now they're in a functioning spot where they've got a foundation, they've got a training a method when new project managers come in. They have checks and balances. They have their meetings once. They have everything set up to where the owner is retired. The current general manager is starting to figure out an exit strategy in terms of growth of where we go from here.
Right.
And it was because we had to build that foundational for a level 2. You have to build systems and processes that function outside of that one person in charge. And that means that one person in charge is going to become less important.
Right.
And that's really hard for guys in this industry.
And
so I think that's one of the biggest spots that we see collision, is I don't want to give that up, or maybe I've got some processes ready, but the one guy I brought in isn't going to work, and so I'm 2 steps back, right? And so there is a lot going from level 1 to level 2, but the main key is we build a foundation for level 2, and level 3 builds on top of that, and level 4 builds on top of that, and then you retire and it's functioning without you, or you pass on and your child's running the company, or whatever it is. The company is the system, not you as the person that started it, or as the founder, or as the owner of the company. So that's one of the biggest spots. I think an issue that we come to hit up against on this also, and we're going to talk about this next week, is how you view your labor, right? The two different companies, when you're a level 1 or where you're a most guy, I am a contractor and I'm delivering a kitchen renovation to this homeowner. That is my goal.
Right.
When I'm a level 2 and beyond, I am a project manager, and my job is the client's experience and organizing all the people that will be delivering that experience. Two totally different companies. You're building a different company to go from level 2 and beyond. Now, with building that, you have to build these outside systems, these systems that aren't you, that aren't in your brain, that are written down, that are trained to people, and the system runs on its own without you. You are a cog in that system as the owner, and you will eventually step out and have someone step into that position that you're in, right? So that's level 2. The hard, and why this is so hard, and what this whole podcast is about, is in level 1, you don't need that, so you don't see the value in it.
Right.
I don't need to write down that I do that. I just do it naturally. Why would I write that down? Or I don't even think about needing to write it down because it just happens. You're good. You're good at what you do. You are a good system. You can run these jobs yourself. Fantastic. Writing those down, building out systematic ways to do things, having a booklet that says, this is how project managers act, this is how we do intakes, this is how we do desk estimates, this is how we do site estimates, this is how we do change orders, this is how we do a client engagement agreement and sign, this is how we hire
process
subs.
For somebody to run.
Every process that happens inside of your company, until you have that written down, you can't get to level 2.
Correct.
You are still the process. And so the hardest part is, why am I wasting my time spending hours and hours and hours writing all this down when I don't need to? I'm the one executing it. I'm not going to write that down. That's a waste. I'll write it down when it's time to hire someone.
Because you don't want to be the person executing it forever. That's why. I have one of the guys that I coach that he came into us as a level 1, and he's been really, really struggling to move from level 1 to level 2. And one of his biggest issues is he knows how to do everything. He can do sheetrock, he can do paint, he can do flooring. Like, he knows how to execute the actual work. And so he always ends up diving back into jobs, and he spends all this time on the job sites doing all the work himself. And he, by nature of that, he's also not able to develop crews that he can rely on, because he just jumps in and does all the work, right? And so I've been working with him. He desperately wants to get to level 2, because he knows once he can get to level 2, 2, 3, and 4 all build on each other. But he's got to make that jump. And so we just boiled things down to a baseline level, and I said, you need to do everything you can do to not swing a hammer. Talk to your people, train your people. It's fine for you to be on site. If something needs to happen, train somebody to talk to your crew, get them to do it, because he's got to get in the habit of not jumping in. Because every time he turns around, he's like, I don't have time to write down the things that are going to allow me to train somebody to do what I do. And so I had to boil it all down to a place. That's your biggest issue. Let's work on that, because we want to get you to level 1 or level 2 so we can grow you and move you into a place where you are managing the business and not running the jobs.
Our coaching platform, I think, does that really well, because the way that the platform works when someone comes into being coached by one of our coaches is, we have got a 6-week launch on board, learn this, get the basics down. But from there, you start walking through our growth path checklist. And it's not the 300 items that you're checking off today. It is, all right, here are the first 5 things. Where on this are you struggling? What have you already done? Great, let's check those 2 things off. You've got that down. The next thing is starting to write out the project management process. Then we've got a baseline of one that you can use, and let's take it and edit it for your company. But the next 2 weeks, can you take 3 hours to look at that process and start editing it? Great. That's all I need you to do. Don't worry about anything else. You're not hiring anyone. Don't worry about anything. This is what's on the path. This is the next step. Complete that, then we'll move on to the next step. It's bite-sized pieces to growth. It's a cheat code, honestly, to to get past what we wish we could go and rewind to where we would have gotten there 10 years quicker than what it took us.
Right.
And so it's one of those things of don't be overwhelmed. If you are a level 1 trying to get to level 2, or you're level 5, or level 3, and you're trying to back up to rebuild that foundation to be able to grow out of your company, we are here for you. We can help you do that. It's a step-by-step process, and it takes self-motivation, being able to sit down and say, I'm going to do stuff that is investing in next year, not necessarily in today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sacrifice doing the labor on a job today to start building my foundation for growth of the company.
I think one of the something that popped into my head that's a tangible example of a variance between level 1 and level 2. In level 1, one of the other guys that I've got that's in level 1, he puts everything, all purchases on one credit card. He doesn't track them. He doesn't know what's for what's job. He just knows that at the end of the month, I owe X amount of money. I invoiced for this amount of money for all of my jobs, and I made money.
Yep.
Right.
It's a pot system. Everything's put in a
Yep.
big pot. We scoop out some of the money out of the pot for paying those expenses,
Yep.
and let's see what's left in the pot.
And that's fine. You can be in that and run things that way, and you make money, and that's fine. You can run it that way. But if your desire is to grow, when you go to level 2, you're backing out of the jobs. You're having other people, main crews running it, and then as you're moving through level 2, you're starting to hire your first employee.
Yeah.
You cannot hire an employee with random miscellaneous funds for where you don't know where the money's going. You have to have your money organized so that can I afford to pay the guy? Do I have enough for payroll? How much can I afford to offer if I put a job offer out there? You've got to have that stuff organized, and there's got to be a process for it so that you can start the building of growth from level 2 to level 3 to level 4.
I think that's great. I think what you're saying, what I 100% agree with, and something that I don't really like to tell contractors in level 1 is that when you're in level 1, you can operate with inefficiencies because they're on a small scale.
Yep.
Right? You can use the pot method, and hopefully we make it. And a little inefficiency here and there, I lost $100, lost $400, I should have done this, isn't a big deal because you're running 5 jobs.
Right.
When you start hiring people, you're teaching them those inefficiencies, and those are holes in their understanding of how things work.
Yeah.
To where it's not going to work to hire them.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out because they don't know.
Well,
so how do I know if I could buy that stuff? I just ask me, and I'll let you know if we got the money. You want everyone just to ask you all the time everything.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't work that way, and so that's a great example with the finances because it's like we have to do overkill the finances in level 1 to where you know where every penny is, even though you don't have to know because it's all in your brain.
Yeah.
But we need to have a systematic way that we track that, we look at that. So when you go to level 2, it might be a little overkill, but you have to set that foundation so when you're growing on it, it's not overkill because you have to. That's really important when you're getting up to 30 jobs at a time.
Well, it's like you said in level 1, small inefficiencies, that's fine. You can have small ones and they're not going to hurt you. You grow to another level and you get 1 or 2 employees and allow those inefficiencies to still be in place, they're going to cost you.
Yep.
They're going to cost you your 2 most valuable assets, time and money.
Yeah. In our
reputation and money.
In our one day to win, one of the facts that are in there and one of the stats that we have is when you're level 1, you're usually about 21% profit at the end of the day. You're trying to charge 30 to 32% profit on your jobs at minimum, and so you have about 9% of overhead costs. And so if I have a 3% inefficiency, let's say, then I'm still making 19%, and it's not that big of a deal. Right? Or 18%. Yeah, 18%. It's not that big of a deal. When you are running a multi-million-dollar level 4 company, your goal is 8%. Right. And so if you've got a 3 to 4% variance in inefficiencies,
you just lost 50%.
50%. Hundreds of thousands of dollars are gone because of those inefficiencies. And so as they don't seem big inefficiencies when you're a smaller company, trust me, you can't grow that way because you are growing into a company that is making 3 to 4% and you're not going to survive. Yeah. Right. Stay where you're at. Don't try to grow.
That's right.
So that's a great example of the finances side of it because which
is if you look at that and realize that's difficult to do, to think through all my processes, to get them written out, to create financial stability in my finances, to have a software or a system or an organized way that I run my jobs. To create all of that is really, really difficult, which is why we run into so many people that say, I'm really good at what I do, I just can't get to the next level.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, it's a lot of work, and that's why, with ProServe Alliance is one of the things that we really love. We've created deliverable processes that we give to all of our Alliance members that help them fast track through that stuff. And because of the growth path, we've got multiple checklists of things that need to be done, but we can pinpoint it down to, don't worry about all these other things. It doesn't matter. Let's do these 3 things right now and don't worry about it. We'll get to those in a minute.
Well,
these are the highest important
and it makes sense. If I'm out running on my own, I don't have a coach, I don't have a company like Alliance that I'm teaming up with. If I delay doing this stuff, I will make more money short term.
Yeah.
If I don't take 3 hours a week and I instead spend 3 hours a week on a job site doing work, I will make more money this month. So I am fully motivated not to do these things. And half the time the guys don't know what these things are. It's like, I know I need to work on my company. What should I do? Maybe email some people, right? And so there's not this path of, oh, you should be doing this and you've got 2 weeks, right? And so we give the accountability, and also you're paying us something to do it. And so you're financially committed, like, I got to get this done or I'm wasting my money.
That's right.
And so teaming up with us, it's one of those things of, you're committing to take yourself seriously. You're committing, like, I'm going to do this. It's going to hurt short term because I'm not going to be able to do as many jobs. If we were a really good salesman, we'd be like, hey, day one you sign up with us, you're going to be making more money.
Right.
No, that's not. The truth of it is it takes work to build this foundation.
Day one you sign up with us, you're going to end up with a lot of work you need to do.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
We're going to put more work on your plate.
Our goal is to help you see the opportunity in the future. Of, I get to spend more time with my kids. I get to spend more time on vacation unhindered. No phone calls, no emails. That's the direction and opportunity that we're going for, and building the foundation is the only way to get
we don't just put more work on your plate. Day one, our 1 day to win, it's our event that's coming up. If you come to that event, you leave there with a calendar of how to efficiently run your jobs in your life. Right. And so we start, before we do anything, our first task as ProServe Alliance is to build efficiencies in your time to where you might be working a 60-hour week. We want to get you to a 50-hour week where you also have 5 hours of that 50 to be working on building your company. That's where we start. We say, okay, let's get you super efficient, and let's assess your current day in and day out and where you're wasting time, effort, and money. And so if we can get more of your time back, let's use that time on building your company.
That's right.
And so we are adding more work day one for sure. But we don't do that until we find efficiency and more time in your schedule. And then we start going from there and walk hand in hand with you at the speed that you want to go, as quickly as you want to grow.
I mean, the first 6 weeks, it's 3 things. And it's if you choose to use the ProServe software, we're making sure that you're efficient on that, which we'd recommend doing it because they all function together. Right? Finances. What are your finances? Are they organized? How do we get those in order in a good spot so that you know where you are financially?
And guys are all over the board there. Some are perfectly in line. Some
have not even looked at it.
Don't know what the bank account says.
They work on the hope creed. I hope it's good. And then time management. Creating the efficiencies of time. Where am I wasting my time, and how can I be more efficient with it? That's the 3 foundational, very, very, very beginning of this that everything else builds on. And it's been successful with everybody that comes into it because they are the building blocks of how you in level 1 do the things you need to do to move to level 2 and so on.
So if this sounds like you, if this rings a little true to your life, listen next week. Next week we're going to dive a little deeper into this. What we're going to talk about is labor. There are 2 totally different labor methods in level 1 from level 2, 3, and 4. And so we're going to dive into that next week, really kind of defining how you transition and how things change with your labor force, how you hire people, all that stuff. So tune in next week for that. This week, though, if you got one thing that you're going to try to do, try to find an hour this week to start writing down some processes. Also, go to our website and sign up for our 1 day to win. We will love to see you there. It's discounted down right now to $99. There's a promo code on there. It's normally
June
$200.
23rd.
We got one at June 23rd. We have them every few months.
Yeah.
So check out our website for the next event. At that event, it costs you about $99 with the code. At that event, you're going to walk away knowing exactly what you're doing. You're going in the next 6 weeks, you're going to walk away saying, okay, this is how I'm going to get efficient. This is my 12-month game plan to get to the next level. This is my 5-year goal that we're going to be doing. We walk away from this event with a plan for you.
Tangible things to start moving forward.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's no long-term commitment or anything. It's come check it out. If you want more, if you want the software, if you want anything else, we're there for it and beyond the event. But really, if you just come and check out the event, that's it, no problem. That's great. So thank you so much for listening. We hope to see you next week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.